Have you ever wondered how ancient samurai warriors could endure unimaginable pain without flinching? How they could fight through injuries that would incapacitate most people? Today, I'm going to reveal a mental technique so powerful that samurai masters kept it closely guarded for centuries. This isn't about becoming numb to pain. It's about transforming your relationship with it entirely. In 1645, Japan's greatest swordsman, Miyamoto Musashi, sat in a cave called Ryugando. He was dying, yet witnesses reported he showed no signs of suffering. Instead, he calmly wrote his final masterpiece, the Book of Five Rings. This wasn't superhuman tolerance. It was the result of a specific mental discipline that any of us can learn. The samurai didn't just train their bodies. They understood something profound about the nature of pain itself, that our minds amplify suffering far beyond the physical sensation. Modern neuroscience is only now catching up to what these warriors knew centuries ago. The samurai operated on a principle called fudoshin, the immovable mind. This doesn't mean being stubborn or rigid. It means remaining calm and centered regardless of external circumstances, including pain. Western medicine teaches us that pain is simply a signal from damaged tissue to your brain. But the samurai understood that pain has two components: the raw sensation and your reaction to it. Think of it like this: the sensation is the arrow hitting you, but your mental reaction is you picking up that arrow and stabbing yourself with it repeatedly. The samurai recognized that most of our suffering comes from the second part. We catastrophize. We panic. We imagine worst-case scenarios. We resist and fight against the sensation, which paradoxically makes it worse. The samurai strategy flips this entirely. The three pillars of samurai pain control. Pillar 1. Mushin. The empty mind. Mushin translates to no mind or empty mind. It's the state of mental clarity where thoughts don't stick. In battle, a samurai couldn't afford to dwell on a cut or injury. That split-second distraction could be fatal. Here's how this applies to pain control. When you experience pain, your immediate instinct is to create a story around it. This is terrible. This is getting worse. What if it never stops? These thoughts are like adding fuel to a fire. The Mushin technique teaches you to observe pain without narration. The sensation exists, but you don't elaborate on it. You don't predict its future or analyze its meaning. You simply acknowledge it as a present moment phenomenon, like noticing the color of a wall. This isn't suppression or denial. It's a radical form of acceptance that removes the psychological layers we typically add to pain. Pillar 2. Zanshin. Relaxed awareness. Zanshin means remaining mind or lingering spirit. It's a state of relaxed alertness where you're aware of everything but attached to nothing. While Mushin empties the mind, Zanshin fills it with calm awareness. When pain strikes, most people tense up. Their breathing becomes shallow. Their muscles contract. This physiological panic response actually increases pain perception by up to 40%. Your body interprets tension as a signal that something is seriously wrong, so it amplifies the alarm. The samurai practiced Zanshin by maintaining physical relaxation even in life or death situations. They trained their bodies to remain soft and responsive rather than rigid and reactive. Here's the technique. When you feel pain, scan your body for tension. Most people don't realize they're clenching their jaw, raising their shoulders, or holding their breath. Consciously relax these areas. Soften around the pain rather than bracing against it. This single shift can reduce your pain perception dramatically. Pillar 3. Kokyu, breath control. The samurai placed enormous importance on breathing techniques, which they called Kokyu. They understood that breath is the bridge between mind and body, and that controlling your breath gives you control over your autonomic nervous system. Modern science confirms this. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural calming mechanism. It literally changes your brain chemistry, reducing stress hormones and increasing endorphins, your body's natural painkillers. The samurai breath technique for pain is specific. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6. The longer exhale is crucial. It signals safety to your nervous system. During the exhale, visualize the pain flowing out of your body like dark smoke. This isn't just imagination. You're giving your brain a task that competes for the same neural bandwidth that processes pain signals. The forbidden technique, Seiza meditation on pain. Now we arrive at the technique that samurai masters traditionally kept within their schools. It was considered dangerous because it required confronting pain voluntarily, and without proper guidance, students could harm themselves or develop unhealthy relationships with suffering. This technique is called Kannen, which roughly translates to contemplation of sensation. Here's how it works. The samurai would deliberately place themselves in uncomfortable positions, such as Seiza, the formal kneeling position that can become excruciating after extended periods. They would then practice transforming their relationship with the discomfort using a specific mental process. Step 1. Location isolation. Instead of experiencing pain, you identify the exact location. Not, my legs hurt, but there is sensation in a 3-inch area on the top of my left shin. This precision interrupts the brain's tendency to make pain feel omnipresent. Step 2. Quality description. Describe the sensation without using pain-related language. Is it hot or cold? Sharp or dull? Pulsing or constant? Tight or expansive? This analytical approach activates your prefrontal cortex, which inhibits your amygdala, the brain's fear center that amplifies pain. Step 3. Number assignment. Give the sensation a number from 1 to 10, but here's the trick. Assign the number to its intensity, not its unpleasantness. A sensation can be intense, an 8, without being unbearable. This separation is crucial. Step 4. Curiosity cultivation. This is the most powerful step. Become genuinely curious about the sensation. What happens if you breathe into it? Does it change? Does it move? Does it have edges, or is it diffuse? The samurai understood that curiosity and suffering cannot occupy the same mental space. When you're genuinely interested in something, you can't simultaneously fear it. Step 5. Impermanence recognition. Notice that the sensation isn't constant. It fluctuates. It has moments where it's more intense and moments where it subsides. This recognition of impermanence prevents the mind from catastrophizing. Nothing permanent can be truly terrifying. The science behind the strategy modern neuroscience has validated these ancient techniques. Brain imaging studies show that meditation practices similar to samurai mental training physically change the brain's pain processing centers. The anterior cingulate cortex, which processes the emotional component of pain, shows reduced activity in experienced meditators. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, associated with cognitive control, shows increased activity. Essentially, these practitioners have rewired their brains to process pain more like information and less like an emergency. A landmark study at Wake Forest University found that meditation reduced pain intensity ratings by 40% and pain unpleasantness ratings by 57%. These results exceeded the effects of morphine, which typically reduces pain ratings by 25%. The samurai were unconsciously hacking their neurology hundreds of years before we had the technology to understand how. Practical applications for modern life. You don't need to be a warrior to use these techniques. They apply to chronic pain, acute injuries, medical procedures, intense exercise, and even emotional distress. For chronic pain, practice the Kannen technique for 5 minutes daily with your chronic pain. Don't try to make it go away. Instead, get intimately familiar with it. This paradoxically reduces the brain's alarm response over time. For acute injury, immediately employ the 3 pillars. Empty your mind of catastrophic thoughts, relax your body around the injury, and control your breath. This prevents your nervous system from overreacting. For medical procedures, Before a procedure like a blood draw or injection, spend 30 seconds in deep breathing. During the procedure, practice location isolation and quality description. Patients who do this consistently report significantly less discomfort. For intense exercise, athletes can use these techniques to push through the discomfort of training. The key is distinguishing between productive discomfort and harmful pain. The samurai made this distinction constantly. The deeper philosophy: pain as teacher. The samurai didn't just tolerate pain. They viewed it as one of life's greatest teachers. Pain demands presence. You cannot ruminate about the past or worry about the future when genuine pain commands your attention. In this way, pain becomes an anchor to the present moment. They also saw pain as a test of character. Not whether you could ignore it, but whether you could maintain your composure and clarity in its presence. This is why samurai training included deliberate exposure to cold, heat, and physical discomfort, not to build callousness, but to develop equanimity. There's a famous Zen story about a samurai who asked a master about heaven and hell. The master insulted him so gravely that the samurai drew his sword in rage. The master calmly said, "That is hell." When the samurai realized the teaching and sheathed his sword, the master said, "That is heaven." The lesson? Heaven and hell exist in how we respond to circumstances, including pain. Common mistakes to avoid. Mistake 1. Suppression. These techniques aren't about pretending pain doesn't exist or being tough. That's suppression, which leads to trauma and dysfunction. True samurai practice is about being fully present with reality, not denying it. Mistake 2. Perfectionism. You won't master these techniques immediately. The samurai trained for years. Be patient with yourself. Even a 5% reduction in suffering is significant. Mistake 3. Using it as avoidance. These techniques shouldn't prevent you from seeking medical care. Pain is information. The samurai listened to their bodies. They just didn't let their minds turn that information into catastrophe. Mistake 4. Practicing only during crisis. You can't learn to swim while drowning. Practice these techniques when you're relatively comfortable, during minor discomforts, during exercise, or during seated meditation. Build the skill in low-stakes situations. The integration practice. Here's a simple practice to begin integrating this strategy into your life. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit in seiza or any position that creates mild discomfort. Apply the 5-step Kannen technique. Do this daily for 2 weeks. You'll notice your pain threshold increasing and, more importantly, your fear of pain decreasing. As you develop proficiency, you can apply these techniques in real-world situations. Eventually, the process becomes automatic, your default response to pain rather than a technique you must consciously deploy. The Forbidden Samurai strategy isn't really about controlling pain. It's about controlling your mind. Pain is just the training ground. Once you can remain centered during physical discomfort, you can remain centered during emotional distress, during conflict, during uncertainty, during anything life presents. The samurai knew something we've forgotten in our comfort-obsessed culture. The ability to remain calm in adversity isn't a bonus skill. It's essential to a well-lived life. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is optional. Start today. The next time you experience discomfort, a headache, sore muscles, a minor injury, resist the urge to immediately reach for medication or distraction. Instead, try 30 seconds of the breath technique. Just 30 seconds of approaching pain differently. You might be surprised to discover that you're more powerful than you realized. The samurai weren't superhuman. They simply understood the mind's potential. That same potential exists within you, waiting to be unlocked. The forbidden strategy is forbidden no longer. The question is, will you have the courage to practice it?